Okay, so we should be recording everything now. And again, y'all, I'll upload this to YouTube before the day is up too. So y'all, I want to go through 2.1. And 2.1 is algebraic expressions and formulas. And so y'all, one thing I'm going to talk about here today is when you see the word evaluate, okay? What evaluate means we're going to do is we're going to plug and chug, okay? So what do I mean by plug and chug? They're going to give me an expression. So like in this example, they said 3x minus 2. But they're telling me what x is equal to, right? What are they telling me x is equal to? X is equal to what number? Anybody know? I just circled it for you. X is equal to 1. So look, y'all, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come back here, and we're going to plug and chug. So everywhere I have an x now, y'all, I'm going to plug in the number 1. We're going to go real slow. Let's multiply. What's 3 times 1? Anyone know? 3 times 1? 3, right? Okay, good. 3 minus 2, y'all, should just be 1. Boom. And you're done. That's all we're going to do. And all these problems, y'all, they're going to give us an expression. They're going to give us values for those letters, and we're going to plug them in, and then we're just going to do the math that comes behind it, right? So sometimes people ask me, hey, Omar, in that first problem, it said 3x minus 2, and you plugged in x was equal to 1. Why didn't you do anything with the y and the z? Because this problem didn't have any y's and z's. So I didn't have to worry about it, right? But look, y'all, when I look at this next one here, this one not only has x's, but it has y's and it has z's. So look, where the x is, I'm going to put the number 1. Where the y is right next to it, I'm going to put the number 3 plus, because there's a plus right here. Where the z is, I'm going to put the number 5. Okay. So let's see if we can't figure this out. First thing we're going to do, y'all, what's 1 times 3? 3. Oops, come on, pen. There we go. 3, sorry. And 3 plus 5, y'all, should just be 8. And again, I'm done, right? So again, y'all, when I see the word evaluate, evaluate just means I'm going to plug and chug, right? Everywhere I got an X, plug in that number. Everywhere I got a Y, plug in that number. Everywhere you got a Z, plug in that number too, okay? All right. So the next one here in my list, y'all, says evaluate each expression when X is 12, Y is 8, and Z is 4. All right, let's see what we can do. So I'm going to put a fraction bar because there's a fraction right there. Where the Y was, y'all, we're going to put the number 8. Where the Z was, we're going to put the number 4 plus 8 times X, and X is the number 12. Okay, so y'all, order of operations. I don't really have parentheses because the 8 times 12 is just multiplying. I don't have any exponents, but I do have division, and that's the first one that I see. So right here, y'all, 8 divided by 4, 2. Okay. Now we can multiply it. What's 8 times 12? I don't know. 8 times 12, 96. And finally, y'all, 2 plus 96 should just give us, boom, 98. Right? So again, my friends, if it says evaluate, I'm going to take those numbers, I'm going to plug them in, I'm going to chug along and do whatever it is we need to do. Okay. So let's look at the next one here. It says x squared minus 3y plus x. Okay, let's see what we got. And let's see what it is we're going to use, okay? So look, in this problem, y'all, we only have x's and y's, so I'm just going to use the x and I'm just going to use the y. So where the x used to be here, y'all, I'm going to put the number 12. I'm going to write it in parentheses with a square because there's a square there. Minus 3. Okay, where the number y was, we're going to put the number 8. Plus the number x again, y'all, again, is just the number 12. Okay, so y'all, first thing we got to do, we have exponents here. Anybody know what 12 squared is? 12 times 12? Anyone know? 12 squared, 144. Minus, anybody know 3 times 8? What's 3 times 8? 24. Very good. Okay, good. Plus 12. All right, y'all, look, I'm going to go left to right. 144 minus 24 should be 120. And then finally, y'all, 120 plus 12 should be, boom, 132, right? And we're done. All right. So again, y'all, evaluate, plug and chug, take the numbers, plug them in, chug along, and see what we end up with, okay? So look, y'all, I'm going to scroll a little further down, and let's take a look-see at this one right here. And let's see what we got to do. All right. So it tells me to evaluate. What did we say evaluate means again? Plug and chug, right? Okay. So y'all, everywhere I have an X, we're going to put the number 5. And everywhere we have a Y, we're going to put the number -7. Okay, so y'all, I want to say last Monday we did some stuff when we had positive and negative numbers. Let's do the multiplication first, though. 3 times 5, 15. 15 plus -7. Y'all, remember what we said? If my number is positive, that's how much money I have. But if my number is negative, then that's how much money I owe. So if I have $15, but I owe you 7, and you run into me in the hallway and you say, Omar, give me my $7. Would I still be left with money, or would I owe you money? What do you think? Anybody know? Guys, I'm going to start borrowing money from you. I don't know. What do you think? I owe you 7 and I have 15. If I give you 7 out of my 15, do I still have money left over or not? What do you think? How much? 8. Very good. Boom. Good. 8. I'm not going to borrow money from you because you know. Okay. Awesome. Very good. All right. So y'all, let's keep doing this. Let's shoot down to the next one here. Again, evaluate 2x minus y when x equals 6 and y is -4. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Y'all remember, we're going to plug and chug again. 2 times 6 minus the number -4, right? Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Look, y'all, 2 times 6, 12. Y'all, when we were here last week and we did some of this stuff with the minuses and everything, anybody remember what happens when you have minus? Positive. Good. +4. 12 plus 4, y'all, should just be 16, right? And you got it. All right. Y'all, let's try the same thing with the next one. So again, look, I'm just doing my evaluating here, right? Look, I'm going to go 9 minus my number x. Look, y'all, I'm putting it in parentheses, -5. My number y, I'm putting it in parentheses, 4 plus 6. Y'all, we just said right now that minus and minus makes it plus. So 9 plus 5 should be 14, and 4 plus 6 should be 10. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think we can reduce that fraction? Yeah, we can divide them at least both by 2. So let's divide them by 2. Okay, what's half of 14? Anyone know? 7, good. Half of 10? 5, right? So we reduce it, y'all, dividing them both by 2, and we get 7/5. Y'all, it's okay to leave it as 7/5, right? All right, let's try this next one here. So again, y'all, I'm going to come back here where my y is. I'm going to put the number 4 squared minus where my x is. Notice, y'all, I'm putting all my numbers in parentheses, okay? All right, so 4 squared, y'all. Remember, 4 squared means 4 times 4. 4 times 4 should be 16. And then again, y'all, when we have minus, it becomes plus. And 16 plus 5, y'all, is 21. Okay. All right. So, y'all, for the next part in 2.1, we're going to talk about what we call like terms and unlike terms. So, y'all, look, I'm going to zoom in here so we can see this a little bit better, and we can hopefully figure out what are like terms and what are unlike terms. Okay, so y'all, the reason these here are like terms is that they both have the letter X. The reason these here are like terms is that they both have an XY. And the reason these are like terms is because they both have an XY, an X squared, right? So why are these not like? Well, one's an X and one's a Y. This is an XY, but this is an X what? Z, not exactly the same. This is an X squared, and that's just an X. In order for them to be like terms, they gotta be exactly the same. So yo, the easy way I think about this is if I'm going to HEB and I'm getting apples, right? In my bag, right? In my bag, if I put green apples and then I put red apples and I go to the checkout, you know what they do? Right? And they weigh these. And then what do? Weigh those five. They're different. They're not the same, right? They gotta be exactly the same. And they make that face too, right? And they should. Okay. So y'all, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna talk about how do we combine like terms, okay? So y'all, the way we combine like terms is whatever letter we have doesn't change, okay? So when I look at this problem here, the letter we have is X, stays as an X. All we're doing, y'all, adding the numbers in front. 4 plus 6, 10. That's it, okay? On my next one, y'all, the number in front of this Y, even though I don't see it, is a 1. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, what is 1 minus 5? Remember, I have $1, but I owe you 5. And if I run into you in the hallway and you say, Omar, give me the $5, I'm going to say, here's $1. And you're going to say, that's okay, but you still owe me 4. And because I owe you 4, it's a negative 4. All right, again, y'all, like terms. Look, these are like terms, X squareds. Okay, 3 plus 5, 8. People say, what about that negative 2? Just comes along for the ride. I can't do anything with it, but it's part of my problem, so it's got to be part of my answer too. Okay. All right, let's do this one here. Look, y'all, 2y and 4y. 2 plus 4, 6 y's. Now, y'all, let's look at these numbers. Minus 6 and minus 8. I already owe you $6 and you lend me 8 more. How much money would I owe you now? Anyone know? If I already owed you 6 and I borrowed another 8 from you, anybody know? 6 and 8? Count on your fingers if you need to. Take off your shoes if you got to use your toes. Anyone know? 14. And because I owe it to you, what kind of 14 is it? Negative, right? Good. All right. Let's try this next one here, y'all. Look, we got a positive 4x. So he's like, how do you know it's positive? Because there's no sign in front of it. But look at the sign of that 5x. It's negative. So remember, I have $4, but I owe you 5. I don't have enough to pay you, but if I pay you, I'm still going to owe you $1. Negative 1x. Okay. Plus 2 and plus 3, y'all. Plus 5. Y'all, you can also write it like this. Negative x plus 5. When we say a negative x, it just means that the number in front of that x is a negative 1. So you can either write a negative 1 or you can put a negative x. It's going to be the same thing, Genevieve. All right. Let's try this one here. So look, y'all, I got a bunch of pieces. Let's go through together. 2x plus 4x, boom, 6x, right? Okay, I'm going to deal with my y's now, y'all. Plus 3y minus 10y. I have 3, but I owe you 10. Still going to owe you 7. Okay, negative 5, positive 11. I owe you $5, but I have 11. I should still be left with 6, right? Y'all, you can use your calculator when you're doing this, right? So again, if you're trying to figure out, say the y's, look, positive 3, negative 10. Go 3 minus 10, negative 7. Hey, that's the number in front of my y's, right? Look, negative 5 plus 11. You go like this, 5 negative plus 11, 6. What kind of 6 is it? Oh, it's positive, right? Use your calculator if you need to, y'all. Okay. All right. Again, y'all, continuing here, we're going to use the distributive property here, y'all. So again, the distributive property just says, look, if you got a number out in front, you're going to multiply that number to both pieces, okay? So I have a number right now in front of my parentheses. That number is 5. We're going to multiply the 5 times the x. That's going to give me a 5x. If there's a plus in the middle, y'all, I'm going to put my plus in the middle. And 5 times 4 is going to give me 20. Now, y'all, right here, I'm going to stop because I can't combine them because one of them has an x and the other one doesn't. Okay. So that's all we're going to do there. Let's try the next one and make sure, again, it's making sense. So look, negative 2 times 5, negative 10 with an a. Y'all, a negative 2 times a positive 2 should be a negative 4, right? All right, let's try this. 8 times x is an 8x. 8 times a minus 4, y'all. So 8 times 4 is 32. And again, there's a minus there, so I'm going to keep my minus there, okay? All right. So y'all, for the next one here in my list, we're going to take this 2 and we're going to multiply it. So 2 times 3 is 6. Anybody know 2 times 7? 14x. And then look, y'all, we got a minus 15. Okay, so now here, y'all, we're going to worry about combining what we can. I can't do anything with this 14x, so I'm going to leave it alone, okay? But now, y'all, I do want to combine this 6 and that minus 15. Again, if you need to, use your calculator. It's all good. 6 minus 15, negative 9. And you're done, okay? All right. Let me scroll just a little bit further in my list here, y'all. And let's see what we can figure out. Okay. I'm going to go super slow here, y'all. Look. Negative 2 times x. Negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5. Positive 10. Plus 4 times 2x is an 8x. And 4 times 2 is an 8. Okay. Now, y'all, first thing I want to do from here, I want to combine my x's. Look, negative 2, positive 8. Again, y'all, use your calculator if you need to. How do you do this? Go 2 with a negative plus 8, 6. Okay, that's the number in front of my x, 6x. Okay, plus 10 plus 8. I don't need a calculator for that. That's just an 18. All right, y'all, I want to give you a minute to try this one on your lonesomes, and then we'll check our answer and see if we're all coming up with the same thing, okay? Y'all, does that look good for the first line? Negative 7x, positive 7, plus 10x, plus 15. We doing okay so far? And then, let's see. What about a negative 7 and a plus 10? What did anybody get? Anybody get anything? It's all right. Don't get 3. Good. 3x. Good. Okay. Plus 7 plus 15. Did you get what? 22? Good. All right. So look, y'all, just a few more to go through to make sure that we're all good. Okay, so y'all, in this next question here, a lot of times people want to go 10 plus 4. But remember, order of operations, we got to do the parentheses first. So we're going to do those parentheses first, my friends. Okay, 4 times 6, 24, D. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, now we're going to combine our like terms. Look, y'all, these are my like terms. So look, we got 24D. Okay, 10 minus 8, I have $10. I give you 8. Excuse me. I'm still left with 2. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit. Oops, sorry. Okay, just a few more here, y'all, in our list. So again, I'm going to do the same thing here with this next one. I'm going to multiply my 2. So I'm going to leave that 3 alone. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8 plus an x. Y'all remember, if there's no number in front of the x, you can always assume that the number there is a 1. So let's combine our x's. 6 plus 1 more, 7. What about 3 minus 8? Again, if you need to, use your calculator. 3 minus 8 minus 5. Boom, and you're done. All right. So the next one here in my list, y'all, says 3 times 5x minus 2. Let's do that. 3 times 5 is 15 with an x. Sorry, with an x. 3 times a minus 2 is a minus 6. 5 times x is a plus 5x. 5 times a minus 2 is a minus 10. Okay. Again, let's combine these. 15 and 5, 20. And then minus 6 and minus 10. If I owed you 6 and I borrowed 10 more from you, y'all, I now owe 16. All right. So y'all, 2 last problems here in 2.1. We're going to, again, still worrying about combining like terms. So look, y'all, my like terms here are 7x squared and 9x squared. I'm just going to add those numbers. So 7 and 9 is 16. Still stays as x squared, okay? And then a positive 3 and a minus 10 should be a minus 7, right? Because if I have 3 and I owe you 10, I still owe you 7. And then finally, y'all, 8x squared and 11x squared, if I add those together, that's a 19x squared. And then right here, y'all, look, a plus 4 and a minus 20. I owe you $20, and I say, here's 4. I still owe you 16, right? Okay. So, y'all, this is what I want us to do now. Let me come back this way. Let's come back over here. Y'all, if you go to the week 5 folder, 2.1 is, why is that to say it's not working? Oh, come on. Let me come back up here. Click it here. If I click the main Pearson link, y'all, you should be able to click on all assignments. I don't know why that one link wouldn't work. Let's see, here we go. And 2.1 is here, and there's 14 questions. So y'all, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. It's 3:32. Oh, let's say at 4 o'clock. So y'all, I'll give you like 28 minutes, right? At 4 o'clock, y'all, we'll pick up again and we'll continue with 2.4, okay? So y'all, I'm gonna stop the recording real quick. Let me go like this. Let's stop recording, boom.